What is up, my lovely people in Blue Tablet land? So for today's video, guys, I'm going to be drawing y'all this creepy looking zombie head. And if that's something you guys are interested in and would like to follow along, stick around and let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is start out by drawing his eye. It's going to be like a squished circle because I didn't want it to be like a perfect eyeball because it is a zombie. I'll start out by doing his pupil. And then take a little chunk out of here, like a little pizza, so it kind of looks like it's somewhat decaying. And then give these two lines or circular lines around it, kind of like arcs, to make it look like it's got some sort of distortion for the whole pupil. I actually wanted to draw the entire zombie, but then I was like, you know what, it might get way too long. And the video might end up being maybe over an hour long. And so then I figured I'd just stick with just drawing the head. So my first zombie movie that I'd ever watched in the theater was Resident Evil. This was back in the year, I want to say 2001 ending, maybe 2002. And I remember when we went into the theater and kind of watched the trailers upcoming to the actual preview of the movie. It was just kind of like this chatter in the room, like, everybody was saying, like, this is going to be a cool movie and all that. And obviously, we had seen the trailers beforehand. And, we all, everybody in college at the time made the decision to go watch the movie. I think what's really cool about the movie is, like, not just the fact that they showed a whole bunch of zombies, but the whole plot and the storyline of, like, how this corporation called the Umbrella Corporation had something illegal going on, and they were doing this testing of this thing called a T virus, and that how they were testing it on animals. And the whole purpose of the movie was to have the whole Umbrella Corporation shut down based on somebody that was working on the inside. And then I guess the man that was in charge of actually kind of getting part of it done is, had the human tendency to kind of, make sure that everything went haywire. So they showed how he throws this T virus and it kind of breaks off from that containment cell that it's in. And it's kind of cool to show the how the special effects, and how the actual virus gets through the vents, and it's just like a biohazard situation, going on by the second. But I think definitely for the time when it actually came out, I think the storyline and just the tech and everything that they were showing going on in the movie was really cool to enjoy. Another fun movie that I think comes to mind is 28 Days Later, which I believe is also based on the whole zombie theme. But the only difference in this one is I think this guy is some sort of a patient that gets kind of released from this mental association or organization. And I think the whole movie is kind of shot, or at least it's made to make you believe that it's shot on location in London. And can you imagine having to come out, like, say if you were fast asleep and then you come out and then you look at everything, and everybody and every person that you ever know that was on the street is just kind of gone, and there's absolutely no sign of humans, no animals, no birds. It's just like pin drop silence. I think that would kind of be the most weirdest kind of thing to wake up to. I get when it's a dream, but if you as a human being, you're just going about your usual day, and then you get up and you see all that, I think that would be something really creepy to have to wake up to. Like the whole thought of having zombies walking and trying to come after all the humans that are alive, but they're not coming after you just to maybe rob you or something, but they're actually coming to eat you alive, which is, I think, a whole new kind of creep out factor when it comes to the whole theme of Halloween and all the creepiness and the stories and all that other fun stuff that makes Halloween so interestingly, what do you call it, entertaining. And there's so many stories that you can share during this time of year. So that's why I figured, drawing a zombie as one of these characters for this 31-day drawing challenge would be an ideal thing. So to all my followers that are possibly watching, maybe drawing along, and to anybody new that's on the channel, what is it about Halloween that you guys like? Do y'all have any special character that y'all associate Halloween with being exclusively just with that character? I mean, is it, let's say, is it Chucky? Is it Slimer from Ghostbusters? Is it Pumpkins? Is it, what is it? I still cannot get those, the name of that candy, which is yellow, white, and orange. I just looked it up earlier this morning, and it's like, whoop, it's gone out of my head again. But if you know what I'm talking about, I mean, comment below. But just kind of curious as to what is it you guys like about Halloween, or which character you like, or what is the favorite movie that you'll have. And as I said, just comment below. So for this part now over here, we're just kind of following the lines that I've done. And usually I don't follow all the lines to the T. It's just kind of like a guide as to where I want the character to stay on the canvas. And you can make it smaller or you can make it bigger. And usually when I do the rough sketch, it's pretty much completely just scribbles, and then I kind of narrow it down to what I'll be doing the line art or the inking when I'm actually doing the inking, as we see over here. The rough sketch pretty much just kind of gets raw ideas onto the paper or onto the canvas. And when you draw out your final thing or you're inking it, I mean, you can change up things. For this part of the year, the brain, I don't know how many times I kind of looked up how to draw a brain, because if you look at it, it kind of looks like pinkish looking bubble gum, and having to illustrate it inside a head is just interesting, because I usually don't draw brains, but drawing it for this illustration was interesting. So I went ahead and chose a 30% brush for this, so I could get the thicker lines down. And this is just to show some sort of texture for the face, because when you look at a zombie's face, I mean, it's either got some toned skin or some wrinkled skin or something that's going on with its face. I mean, it's by no means is it a picture perfect face. So this adding these thicker lines and the thinner lines, or seeing where the thinner lines would be, kind of really adds that nice cool illustrative look to the actual illustration. Do some little hairs down here just to show some little spiky hairs coming out of him, and some more lines. And once again, these lines is pretty much, I mean, you can draw it any way you want. This is just a suggestion as to what I did for the illustration. And if you want to do less lines, feel free to do it. And if you want to do more lines also, that's fine as well. But as I said, it's just to give the illustration some more texture, and kind of make it look like it's got that nice rugged worn out feel to it. As I was continuing to do the line art for the details on this part, I kind of wanted to switch it up to the spray spatter brush, which is this brush that kind of gives you the feeling that you're using a digital spray brush. And I think it would have probably given the zombie that nice, more of a textured look, almost to make it seem like as if the skin kind of had some sort of like a fungus or something growing on it. I mean, I don't know, just random thoughts in my mind. But then I was like, nah, it might get a little bit too detail oriented, and I kind of didn't want to get too carried away. And I just figured, I'll just keep drawing some more lines and giving the zombie that nice textured look, so it doesn't look like it's all just plain line art to actually finish the character. Something about drawing these digital lines on the canvas I feel is very soothing, because it almost reminds me that I'm working on some sort of a doodle. And I have a sketchbook which is off to the left of me, and I kind of just do doodles and like random sketches in those books when I'm not recording. So when I do these lines on here, it's like it just takes me back to that whole mindset of like doing a doodle. And I always have to ask myself, okay, is that the last line, or do you still need to draw some more lines? It's like it's always that battle between my mind and having to finish the actual illustration and not getting too carried away, because as I said, drawing these lines is very soothing, because it's not making a mess by no means, because it's just the pencil in contact with the actual tablet, and you get these almost like sharpie looking digital lines, which is as I said nice and relaxing. Just on some days, I just draw lines and just try out different techniques of drawing lines, whether it be thin lines, whether it be thick lines. And it's amazing how the line weight of an illustration can really change how it looks, as opposed to just doing it in one particular line weight. Since we're talking about doodles and all, I was actually thinking that if I had done these illustrations in some sort of a vector format, I would have probably combined all of the line art of all these characters and kind of made it a doodle, and just colored it just for the heck of it, to see how they would all look together. Because now they're all on separate layers and in different folders, but I think definitely for fun, it would be kind of a cool Halloween themed doodle. So here we go. This is the final line art. And now for the colors, I went ahead and pre-selected these colors before starting this whole coloring part of it. And I chose this nice green for the face, a nice yellow for the eyeball, this little pink for the worms, and then for also the little brain that's sticking out. And these colors are pretty much just just off the top of my head. Kind of looked at some illustrations prior to see what zombies are being colored as. And you can always change it up. You can make the zombie maybe like a beige color, and then maybe make the eyes green. And this is the fun part about the whole illustration process. Doing the colors, because you can really bring out the character and really make them pop, with the whole shading and the highlights and everything, and just have fun with it. And at least I do. I have a whole lot of fun with the whole shading process, because I always have to think to myself, don't get carried away. That's been the biggest challenge in this whole process of doing this 31 days of drawing challenges. Is just the having that ability to tell yourself when to stop and then go on to the next illustration. So I went ahead and did the same technique I did for my other ones, which is on the shading, and just use the line art and then turn down the opacity. I think for this one I kind of turned it down to about 40, because 30 was looking a little bit too light. And just start from one section and then slowly move your way through the illustration. The way the shadow falls on the character mainly depends on where the light source is coming from, and I've not really talked about too much about that in these illustrations, because we're not talking about light sources and all that. But when you are doing them and you have already decided where the light source is going to be coming from, the shading becomes a whole lot easier, and exactly which parts are going to be darker than the rest, and which part of the illustration would have like that nice 3D look. which is something that you can really do with the whole shading process. I mean, you can make a image look completely like realistically looking 3D. And trying to remember, there was an illustration that I'd seen that an artist had done of just a regular green apple, and the way she shaded it was just out of this world. I mean, and she did the whole illustration in Procreate. And I mean, obviously, I'm sure it probably took her at least I want to say maybe 5, maybe 6 hours, maybe give or take, between actually doing the entire thing and stopping and starting. But by the time she was done, the apple looked so realistic. I mean, you could actually see the little small itty bitty pores that the apple skin has, which is kind of, really breathtaking or really mind blowing, or whatever the word is you want to use, to see that you can accomplish that kind of detail on these digital softwares, as opposed to doing it the traditional way. When it comes to drawing digitally or drawing traditionally, I think both the styles of art have got their own pros and cons. Like for me, I used to draw traditionally up until 2020, and I never really used a tablet. And the only reason I started using a tablet is because my daughter kept talking about getting a tablet. And then when she got hers originally, I tested it out, or she kind of was like, "Dad, you gotta try it. And I was like, nah, at first I was like, I kind of didn't want to go away from something that I'd been doing all my life, which is drawing traditionally with a pen and actually feeling the pen on the paper and the pencil and all that. But drawing, I guess, digitally was interesting in the aspect of, the plastic nib of the actual pencil feels a little bit weird when you touch it to glass. So I think she had said she wanted to get a matte screen protector. And after she applied it, then I guess I was more open to trying illustration, So I think the first illustration I did was this little stick figure skeleton. And I was actually excited and kind of thrilled to see how it was coming out, because it was like a whole new experience to see something, just appear out of nowhere. Because, when you compare it to traditional art, I mean, when you put the pen on the paper, you know what you're going to expect, you know that there's going to be a definite line coming down on the paper. Unless, your ink's kind of drying out, then you kind of have that stopping and starting of the pen, which is kind of annoying when it happens digitally. But for the most part, I think combining the best of both worlds to get the final project or product out there is really where it's at. So that's just my 2 cents when it comes to drawing digitally and traditionally. So for the remaining of this illustration, I kind of just had my music playing in the background on my laptop while I was drawing. And I personally think when I'm listening to my music while drawing, my art seems to come out more chilled and more, I don't know what is the exact term, but it kind of feels like I have more of a connection to my art as opposed to when I'm just drawing without no music. I know I've probably said this maybe on this channel and my other channel as well, but something about listening to the music while you draw is very soothing. And it's almost like if you were sitting at a beach and just watching the sunrise or sunset while drawing, and just taking it all in and kind of just illustrating what you see. But that's pretty much what art is for me. I mean, it's very what do you call it, a way for me to express my skills, get better with each new day. And hopefully the people watching on and my subscribers and any new people that may have tuned on for this whole 31 days of drawings have learned something and have maybe had a fun time drawing along. But yeah, I think another thing that I also love doing is driving and listening to my music at the same time. But just going for those really, really long drives, that's at least minimum of like 8 to 9 hours, maybe 10 hours. But driving down an expressway and just having nothing but open road in front of you is really another thing that I really enjoy doing when I'm not drawing, or at least I hope I can at least go for a long drive maybe down the road, because now it's just drawing, chilling, and just getting through each day one day at a time. I know it's kind of has got nothing to do with drawing a zombie, but sometimes I feel when I look at this zombie face, I kind of feel like my life's like the zombie face, kind of like that redundant repeat of, like, when Monday comes along, what you're going to be doing when Tuesday. So I think the zombie face definitely portrays that for anybody that has redundancy and is looking for something to change and make it more fun like. So the zombie that you guys see at the beginning of the video is the one I ended up finalizing it to look at or look like, because I kept doing the highlights of here, and as I was getting close to the end, I was like looking at the zombie and like, zooming out, zooming in. I was like, something about it was not to my liking. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna finish the the final take off camera and not record it, because otherwise I think it would have ended up being over 30 to 40 minutes long had I kept that part of it in. But if you guys would like to see what the final thing looks like from start to finish, let me know, because as I said, the only reason I did that was so that the video wouldn't get too intensively long and boring. But I think that's the mindset that, when you think of making videos, whether it be videos or reels, it's like you always got to hustle and like make it quick and make it informative so that, everybody kind of enjoys it and draws along. But anyway, guys, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap this video up by saying thanks to everybody that was following and drew along, and to all the new people that came by. So till the next one, guys, keep creating, and I will see y'all in the next video. Take care, guys. Bye for now.